Hi, everybody. Welcome to the final monthly town hall webinar of the year, the December edition. Patrick and I are very excited to have some upcoming features from our next update that's going to be released to kind of give you guys a preview of today. Of course, we will also be opening up to a Q&A section at the end of the town hall, just as always. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and pass things over to Pat to kind of walk you through what we're going to be looking to release in our next update. And we'll, of course, answer any questions along the way. So please don't hesitate to send them through.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Nick. So happy December, everybody. This is our last one of the year. Can't believe we're already here. And we will be just rehashing the previous update just a little bit. Don't want to rehash it too much because I think we've talked about it twice or three times already. But I'm really excited to talk about what we have coming out for the next update upcoming at 221. And we'll also be kind of just doing a year in review and talking about, some recent things that we did, but really just getting a nice introspection of what the last year looked like for us at NeQter Labs. So for update 220, we had a couple different things. We had Sentinel-1 integration, and that is coming after we had the supported integration with a secure syslog. So Sentinel-1 was a nice win for us that we added. And as per every other syslog integration, sending it right to NeQter and configuring it in the inputs area. Then we're getting logs in the Discover area and visualizing on the dashboards. We also had a couple report enhancements, such as adding the ability to send an email for on-demand reports, which was a request that came in quite a bit, and also being able to run before running a scheduled report, just kind of testing, running that report in the menu. Just a couple nice enhancements for just make things easier for people. Just as I just mentioned, adding a report to manually trigger, having that scheduled report. And then lastly, just cleaned up and really made the flyout for the reports for both on-demand and scheduled look really clean, have a cascade effect, so then you can collapse certain areas that you might not want to be viewing. And one of the things that a lot of people were happy about was some added support for RHEL 8 and 9 and ensuring compatibility for the Ubuntu agents. As per, we had a question on the last webinar asking about Ubuntu 24. So that still needs to be tested on our end. I understand that people are moving to 24 now for Ubuntu. So that's something that we're taking a look at. And then one of the things, this kind of flew under the radar and isn't something that we're kind of blasting out or announcing, majorly. But we did have a couple clients who needed 32-bit agents for Windows. So those are available upon request. It's much more intensive in terms of they have to be a manual deployment, and there's some things that need to be changed. But they can effectively work and send logs. So that's another thing that we did with the agents with the previous update 220. So now, kind of breeze through that. Really want to talk about what we have for update 221 that's going to be coming down the line. A couple big updates. So number one, down detection for syslog inputs is something that we're adding, and it's actually up and working now, but it's wrapped up in that update, so we'll come out with the rest of the update per usual. So, couple things with this with down detection. You'll be able to see a 24-hour status. There's that kind of that status area right now in the syslog inputs, but the way that we wrote it a long time ago was to see if there's any logs in the last minute. So sometimes with certain integrations, there might not be logs in the last minute. So if something's just not sending because there wasn't a log, it will show as not receiving. So it's not a currently the best indicator. So having this 24-hour status is going to be really nice in that syslog area. But more importantly, setting up down detection, being able to uh, turn it on, set the different time frames that you might be looking at. So whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, a day, you can adjust the time frame based upon when you wish to receive that alert. And then you can add multiple emails, multiple people to receive those emails that something has not been seen, sending logs. There's an apparent down detection for that syslog input. It is what the email is going to look like. Essentially, you're going to be able to see, of course, the name that you have for the whatever the input that you set up, the IP, and then the manufacturer type. So you can easily identify quickly. And in of course, the message bar is going to say, ABC integration has been detected as down in that subject line. So that's going to send right out as soon as logs have not been seen in whatever time frame you set, X amount of time, in this case 10 minutes, that will be sent out as an alert. Another big thing that we have coming out as a major enhancement is multiple tenant support for Microsoft 365, because this is a trend that we're seeing with a lot of clients where you have commercial and you don't want to lift everything up into GCC or GCC high, but then you need to pull logs from both. Before, in years gone by, we saw people, again, only maintain a singular tenant, lift everything up from commercial into GCC or GCC high, or, just stay in commercial, maybe add Prevail, add or Virtue, something like that. But now more and more companies are doing multiple ones, or then we do have some MSP partners where maybe they're handling multiple tenants on behalf of a couple different clients. So what you'll be able to do is configure the multiple tenants, add commercial at GCC or GCCI at the same time, and then you can add a display name. So then you can easily determine the different tenants in the list. So you can see whatever you want to name it, business or GCC or company name or what have you. So you'll be able to see the names, the tenant ID, the plan type, and you can see which log types are enabled with that when you configure the tenant. But also, more importantly, you'll be able to go in and edit the tenant. So now, right now, you have to kind of disable it, re-enable it. It's not as intuitive to do that. So you can, in future, edit and adjust as needed the different tenant configurations. So this is big. So for a lot of you where you might just have two, well, that's going to be more than enough. But you'll be able to pull in and track the logs for both. But for other more unique configurations where maybe there's 5 or more, we don't have a limit to the tenants the number of tenants that you're going to be able to pull in. So this is a big update. Austin, our team was working on this. Sean actually with the down detection. He was able to work that in very nicely. So an additional thing for 365 is we can see much more specific data. So one of the things that, and I wanted to give a shout out to our friends over at DefCert. They basically there was many sessions where we were leveraging their data and kind of consulting with them of what do we need to extrapolate, what do we need to pare down more. So when we first started with the 365 integration, and it's been like this way for years now, we had a couple dozen fields that were parsed just because, it takes a lot to know what Azure looks like, or 365. There's so many different variability of message fields or outcomes, or different severity levels, or uh, different apps and what have you. So we weren't full-fledged or really in the weeds when we first developed it. So we were able to consult with people who were, and we've added 50 additional parsed fields to 365. So, uh, kind of in the Christmas spirit, as we move forward and we release this update, your new dashboard might be more colorful than your Christmas tree, because there's going to be so many more different individual types and outcomes and different information that you're going to be able to see, various different message outcomes or severity levels or fields from Exchange and SharePoint and everything up there in 365. So very big enhancement. So it's the same amount of data, so it's not going to be an increase of data. It's gonna We're gonna have much more parse fields, and it's gonna be really nice. So again, shout out to our friends over at DefCert for helping us accomplish this big update. And another thing that we've added or enhanced upon is, with both reports and alerts, the ability to construct the both, again, the alert and reports areas with added fields that are added under when you save a custom search. So understanding how to construct a saved search properly is going to be very important. And that's something that I didn't want to, because I want to dedicate the appropriate amount of time. So I think when the update's going to be coming out within the next few weeks, kind of as a Christmas present to everybody. So when we get to the January town hall, I think we'll carve out some time to review what a custom search should look like, how you include, because one of the things that we've gotten a lot of asks about is, hey, when I get an alert, I'm getting all of the message fields, but I only care about name and time and asset or IP or outcome. How can I see just those? So this is the answer: being able to select rather than including. Right now, it's everything in the kitchen sink. With this added fields capability, you can just add the ones you want to see. So this toggle here, use save search columns, that we're adding, is going to opt you into only utilizing the ones that were added in the search. And that's a function in Discover that, is kind of we see some people use it heavily. A lot of people kind of lightly use that. So this will be kind of a learning exercise for everybody. But opting into or adding certain fields so you can see the alert and bubble up to the top what you want to see, but also more, and maybe even more importantly, or just as important, in the reports area, instead of having 20 columns in a report, you can just have 3, or you could just have 5, just the ones you want to see. So that's what this feature is going to be. And actually, just a shout out, this is Jose from our team working on this. He's been rolling up his sleeves and dealing with a lot of the reports and alerts function for us. So wanted to highlight that. We'll be covering that much more in depth, kind of in a show and tell with the next webinar. So that's what 221 is going to look like, and we'll need to see that there's probably a last update before version 3. So now we're going to have a 3 in front instead of the number 2, which will be very exciting. But so that's kind of a wrap talking about NeQter. Just wanted to quickly touch upon again the ecosystem updates for NIST and CMMC. So we're quickly approaching, just weeks away now from having the 32 CFR CMMC program rule update going effective. So we've covered last webinar and actually kind of teased or hinted in October because we anticipated it coming out. So the rule was published October 15th, 2024. So, and it had a 60-day effective deployment date. And right here in the Federal Register, you can see under dates, this rule is effective December 16th. So as of December 16th, CMMC is live as a program. So you can, if you haven't already, reach out to C3PAOs or certified third-party assessment organizations, the ones that have been kind of tapped on the shoulder to go and assess and certify organizations. You'll be able to get your cert for CMMC starting December 16th. So word of caution, a lot of those C3PAOs, they're backlogged all the way to summer of next year. Like I know quite a few that have a spring already booked out for companies that, kind of want to be first in the queue. So putting that on your radar to get that cert. Now, as a point of emphasis, this is not to be confused with 48 CFR, which is CMMC is required in contracts or can formally be written and legally be written into contracts by the DoD. That's the 48 CFR. So CMMC isn't quote unquote enforced yet formally by the DoD, but it is but the CMMC is going to go live as a program with 32. And then for 48, as we see here, the proposed rule was published in August 15th. Comment period already closed. One of the things, and my good friend Jacob Horn covered this on his podcast, the reason that the 32 took so long to come out was because they had literally thousands of comments. And per law, they have to answer each one, even if it has to do with if you sent a comment that said, "Oh, I'm upset that the Jersey Mike's was bought out." You can write that and send it to the DoD. They have to answer it. They're going to answer back. This is outside of the scope of this rule, but they have to So the reason that the 32 took so long was because they had to list and summarize everything out. So I don't believe that the 48 had as many comments as the 32, so we can anticipate it taking much shorter. It will likely be effective Q3, Q4. We could see it as early as going final in Q1 of 2025. It needs to be seen. And one of the biggest things, of course, to emphasize is that this has been the CMMC program, because of course we're having an administration change or administration return to previous administration. The CMMC was started under the Trump administration and continued under the Biden. And in terms of CMMC itself, it's a continuation of Obama era NISTA legislation. So it's bipartisan. Nothing's putting brakes on this train. So please be prepared. Please reach out, or if you need to be put in touch with a C3PAO, you can always reach out to NeQter, ask us, see if there's anyone that we recommend or have worked with previously, but definitely keep this on your radar. So enough about that. Don't want to beat a dead horse. Wanted to highlight one of the recent I say shows, but it was actually a webinar. I had a very good time actually. This webinar. It was co-hosted by NeQter Labs and Prevail. It was just a short, kind of succinct. Obviously, everyone on this call, you guys are utilizing NeQter. This was more of a, for those unfamiliar with SIM, or maybe trying to plug in that last piece of the puzzle, finding SIM, just a nice kind of short webinar that we had, and it's posted up on YouTube. So can share the YouTube link. Look to kind of share it in the chat. Or actually we'll just pull it up now and put it in the chat. But yeah, so that nice short, and I had a good time, and I think it was very informational. Some of you were on it, so I appreciate your support there. So that was a nice. We've been doing a couple things with Prevail since we added in that integration with them a couple months back. So just wanted to kind of highlight that last thing that we did. We didn't do any in person. We were looking at going to CEIC East, but just being the week before Thanksgiving, kind of just, it was too hectic, and decided to stay home and actually host this webinar, which I think was very fruitful. So that's the last kind of hurrah, and that's the last event that we did this year. So I wanted to put a bow on what we had happen this year, just to kind of put into perspective, because you really look back and you go, wow, we did a lot this year. Sometimes you lose perspective on things. So in terms of, from the tool set standpoint, we had quite a few new integrations that we added. The support for Red Hat and Ubuntu. We added in, of course, the secure syslog, which allowed us to grab logs from things like Sentinel-1. We added Cisco Secure Endpoint, Juniper, CrowdStrike. So we added quite a bit this year in terms of net new capabilities and integrations with the platform. And I'll kind of touch upon this later, but we're always looking for new features, and we actually streamlined the ability to get new feature requests. So new integrations, these were fun. They added a lot of nice value to the tool, and we added a lot of new features. The blockbuster one that we added was the new report system. And then we continually honed and tweaked it, and are continually honing and tweaking the report system. 10 supported report types from the compliance tool, inventory, vulnerability scanning, and then general system reports and custom reports. We enhanced the search management, saving, customizing searches. The compliance tool got a couple nice added features with tasking, those new reports, spurs, and just a lot of nice summarization capabilities with that piece as well. And then, as I kind of just mentioned, enhanced documentation by anchoring the doc site, so that when you open up that flyout in the tool, it's showing you where you are, so you can easily discern and read what's happening. And also, we added on the doc site itself, and of course the flyout, ability to separately submit feature requests. So there's a submit a ticket. Now there's submit a feature request that we added in there. So a lot of nice we've had multiple feature releases, we've had multiple updates, and just nice to kind of look back and go, oh wow, that wasn't there before, or we added that, or continuously improved and improved. And we also attended, or I didn't want to make this my own personal photo album over here, but I was I attended every show that we did this year, going to California, going to DC, a couple local events, our kind of our flagship event, NDAA New England, where it's always cool to see your logo up on a large stadium screen. And we hosted the after party, as you can see with the picture. We had great attendance. Everyone got to kind of meet the team. So it was wonderful to see everybody. And we're going to have a packed 2025. We're going to do these same shows and more, I believe, with what we are looking to schedule. We also did a couple, as I mentioned, events with Prevail, such as the virtual CMMC summit, and then of course that webinar, that joint webinar that we did. So a lot of traveling, a lot of going around the country and meeting people, and a lot of features that came out. And I think, yeah, that's just kind of a nice little wrap up for it was nice for me because I actually went back through my the presentations that we've done this year already, and the change log, just to kind of see all of the work that our teams put in. But then of course, a lot of the enhancements that we've added and even new features are dictated by customers, by you guys, using the tool, saying, hey, this would be neat if I could do this, or why aren't why aren't I seeing this, or it would be much easier to do this, or could I get a feature that does this, or could I get this integration? So a lot of it is dictated. There's different stuff that we come up with on our own, or we kind of have large moving foundational pieces that we construct. But some of the nice to haves or need to haves are from you guys and your feedback, your dialogue with Nick, your dialogue here on on the webinars, dialogue with support. So wanted to give a thanks to everybody for your effort as well. So wanted to see if I don't believe we've had any questions. All has been quiet in the chat. Nick, is there anything that you think that would be worthy of mentioning on today's call? I know we kind of have a smaller attendance. I think that it's rotating door season of people taking time off, and as we get into the holidays, which is important. So, anything from your side, Nick?
I don't have anything in particular that I think we're ready to go over today. I think your plan for next webinar of kind of doing a deeper dive into the Discover area would be the only thing that I've seen recently from meetings with clients where there's any level of struggle. But I would like to note that a lot of our clients have been really ramping things up and just doing a stellar job of actually utilizing all the different tools that Sean and Austin and Jose have been, grinding away, developing on. And um, I just want to say it was a great way to, kind of come to the end of the year, seeing everybody get progressively more successful with the platform. So, shout out to everyone on the webinar.
Yeah, absolutely. And we added quite a number of customers this year. There was support was booked, I want to say, for all of September and October with new deployments. Just especially with the rule, but then also fortunately we've been kind of spoiled with a lot of companies who are, very mature in the process, very mature in their cyber, very mature in their compliance, who have been working on this stuff for months or years, and they go, I need a sim. And fortunately for us, they picked NeQter as their sim of choice. So yeah, don't want to, drag this on, too long, but definitely wanted to capture everything that has happened this year, is going to be happening shortly. And next year, I can't wait, because it's been a long time coming, of a full year, in fact, that we've been slowly plodding along and working on version 3 of the platform, which is going to be a fantastic new foundation. But of course, we don't want to stop the progress. We want to keep adding things, for people to, be aware of, and if you need something now, we look to fit it in, or improve, or something needs to put a pin in it and wait until, V3. We've been, highly communicative of that. So yeah, if there's, no questions, we'll kind of look to wrap up December 2024 and look to link back up again with everybody in January 2025. Can't believe we're already here. And wanted to, give a shout out to everybody. Just again, thank you for, your time and your dedication, and working with us. And wanted to wish everyone a happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate, Christmas or Hanukkah, or Festivus, or what have you. Everyone have a great holiday season, a fantastic new year, and we'll look to link back up in the new year. So I'll let, Nick take us out. And again, this was recorded and will be put up on our YouTube channel. And we'll look to talk again in the new year.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. See you all again in January. I can't wait for even just the next update that Pat went over today, but even more exciting things coming with version 3. So I can't wait to go through all of that with you guys next year. Have a great rest of December and fantastic holidays